Hello, everyone. Welcome to Starwell Astrology. My name is Sharrie. I am a Western tropical astrologer, and I specialize in shadow work, and I'm also an author. Today, I'd like to speak on Uranus as it's entering into Gemini. And I want to talk about, as it transits through Gemini, what we might experience if there's a planet there. But first, it's important that I describe Uranus. Uranus is considered the great awakener. It's a mysterious giant that intrigues many scientists and also all astrologers because it's so unpredictable. Uranus is a planet that defies the norm in the solar system because it has such erratic behavior that, unlike most of the other planets, you have some sort of pattern to predict what it might do. With Uranus, it's hard to tell, other than it will do something that we don't expect. Uranus is an unusual planet because it tilts almost all the way on its side, and its rotation is much like a rolling barrel. And it also has this stunning blue-green color due to its atmospheric composition. It's the first outer planet after Saturn that is not visible to the naked eyes from Earth, partly because it's concealed by this haze. And Uranus is the seventh planet from the Sun. As we delve deeper into its icy atmosphere and peculiar orbit, you'll discover why Uranus is one of the most intriguing and least understood planets in the solar system. Before we unlock the secrets of this cosmic giant, let's talk about where he's transiting currently in the sky. Uranus will leave the sign of Taurus and enter into Gemini on July 8th of 2025. And it will get to approximately 1 degree of Gemini before retrograding back into Taurus on November 9th of 2025. And it will stay there until April of 2026, at which time it will make its final ingression into Gemini and stay there approximately 7 years. Uranus is marked as one of the most radical planets in our solar system. Imagine a planet that's all about excitement. It brings radical ideas and unconventional thinking and electrifying communication. Uranus ingressing into Gemini is going to stir up also the themes of Gemini. And the themes of Gemini are around transportation, whether by car or by air, education, communication, and technology. So we can look forward to some big shifts in these areas. These areas are likely to experience some kind of quantum shift where suddenly things turn in like these startling and exciting ways. And we're not able to predict it because we're not able to conceive of those ideas yet, what that might be or what that might look like. Just know that it will happen, and it will happen quickly because it's in an air sign, which is Gemini. And Uranus has this very electrifying energy, and with air, it's like a spark. Now, let's talk about Gemini for a minute. Gemini sign is very versatile. It's chatty and it's a lot of mental energy. So when Uranus gets into Gemini, it's like a cosmic spark plug, igniting bursts of inspiration, and it will usher in a whirlwind of innovative ideas to bring unexpected breakthroughs. So Uranus in Gemini will transform your approach to information shared through the media, revealing innovative ways to communicate and share extraordinary ideas. Every interaction could become a potential adventure and discovery. Get ready to embrace a dynamic fusion of intellect and electricity, where thinking outside of the box becomes the norm, and every idea is a chance to redefine the status quo. The interesting backstory to this transit is that Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, where Pluto is about to make its final ingression in November of this year, 2024, and Pluto will remain there around 20 years. The interesting backstory to this transit is that Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, where Pluto is about to make its final ingression in November of this year, 2024, where it will remain for around 20 years. But why is this important? Because when two outer planets, and in this case, it's actually three, but we'll only talk about Pluto and Uranus today because it's easier to make this link in a simpler way. Because when two outer planets, meaning especially since Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius and Pluto is moving into Aquarius while Uranus is moving into Gemini, and they're both two air signs, it shows a correspondence to some kind of change in our ideas. Both rule the mind in some way, and air is quick energy. So there will be a transformation around how we're thinking, and it will be very explosive and unexpected and electrifying. So Uranus is the planet of the unexpected and sudden surprises, as well as it's the planet of awakening that leads to liberation from fears or limitations. This is all about fast turnarounds, breaking through boundaries and going beyond what seemed like a limitation. But also, we must not ignore that this energy could be disruptive and destructive. Uranus represents nomads, travelers, people who don't fit into the norm, the oddball and the loner. Also, it's people who are unique, original, modern, trendy, or have a mad scientist vibe, as well as inventors and visionaries fall under the strong Uranus energy. Uranus can be romantic, but it will not want a relationship that is confining because it expects things to be different and untraditional and will have a strong theme of freedom. Uranus rules the nervous system and can cause burnout, overstimulation in our mental activity, but can excite the intellect. And in Gemini, that's already an air sign, either there could be too much mental activity, or if we can handle this, it can be very innovative for those of us who have planets in Gemini. Best way to use Uranus constructively is to focus on the intellect or a unique creative project or as an outlet, or maybe something scientific or technological. These are great ways to use the electrifying energy of Uranus. Now, let's talk about Gemini. Gemini is a sign that Uranus will enter. So, what is the overall theme in Gemini? As I mentioned briefly before, Gemini is an air sign, and the air qualities are usually very curious and it knows no bounds. It's adaptable and it loves the idea of exploring information, collecting data. And Gemini is a dual sign, so symbolically it's represented as the twins. And for this reason, because it likes to look at two sides, it likes to have choices, and it also can be two-faced. They tend to look at their choices because they like to have a variety of ideas to work with, but this can also make them very hesitant in making a choice. This is a very changeable energy. And Gemini is, like I said, a mental sign. It loves to think. It has a very busy mind and it loves to communicate, share, and teach. Also, it likes to collect information and it likes to seek new experiences because it's also a very curious sign. Gemini is the zodiac's ultimate explorer because it's curious and it is forever ready to learn more. Whether it's mastering a new skill or engaging in our thought-provoking conversations, Gemini is never short of being interested in gathering more information to add to its toolbox. Now, when Uranus enters Gemini in July of 2025, next year, we will likely see some upheaval in the news. Watch out for chaos, propaganda, an overwhelming amount of information, even misinformation. Something unexpected is likely to happen especially in the media. There will be sudden breakthroughs and also breakdowns, since the nervous system can get overstimulated or the mind can become overactive. Uranus in Gemini will affect how we communicate, whether through words or through devices such as a cell phone or the internet, like Zoom. So get ready for this quantum shift in our personal reality as well as virtual reality. In the school system, especially elementary level schools will, because Gemini rules the lower grade school, will likely experience huge transformations. How we learn could change or advance in some significant or unexpected way. Education through the internet will be, although already common, will become more popular, maybe even the norm. There could be an unexpected breakthrough from the traditions of the educational system to a more non-traditional way of learning. The automobile industry, whether by car or air travel, will suddenly advance, as well as there could be a swift shift in technology. Gemini is a quick air sign, and when combined with Uranus's electrifying energy, as it rules Aquarius, a compatible air sign, it will exaggerate and advance the air qualities of intellect. I want to talk about whether or not you have a planet in Gemini. So let's start with the sun. If you have the sun in Gemini, when Uranus conjuncts your sun at some point over the next 7 years, 7 to 8 years, this could be very significant for you. When Uranus conjuncts the sun, they work pretty well together because they are both electrifying energy. They're both masculine energy, and they both love to create. So the sun rules consciousness, and Uranus is the awakener. So one could feel more liberated with this conjunction. However, this could come with some sudden or unexpected disruptions in your life. If you feel stuck or trapped or blocked, this will excite and ignite you into action. Shocking events could ensue that leave you feeling or reeling in shock. But ultimately, even if it brings challenges, Uranus's ultimate goal is to liberate you, even if it's not done in a delicate or gentle way, because Uranus is not a delicate or gentle planet. It will shake you at your foundation. So you just have to be ready for this. Uranus transiting the sun in Gemini this is good because it's flexible, and also it can give you this supercharged feeling of electricity running through your body, which could make you ready to act and make you very innovative and excited about whatever it is that you're doing. But of course, you have to be careful of burnout. Gemini sun signs, they love to explore and seek and search for answers, gather information. And since Uranus rules the intellect, this will be very exciting for Gemini sun signs. Gemini in general do not have a very strong center or ego identity because they like to stay in the middle to see both sides. And because of this, it can make them a little bit confused because they don't like to pick a side. And this makes them seem a bit indecisive and unable to hold on to their ideas or opinions. And this could become escalated because there's going to be so much to choose from that this could allow or make Geminis kind of lose their center, become a little disoriented as far as what it is that they believe in or want to act on or want to choose. So this would be the one weakness that, or one of the weaknesses that could come about with the sun, with Uranus conjuncting the sun in Gemini. But as the mind gets illuminated by the sun and ignited by Uranus, breaking through old patterns happens at an accelerated rate. And this can be extremely good because Gemini suns are quick at adapting to sudden changes. In modern astrology, Gemini rules the left brain and Uranus rules the right brain. Sometimes they say it's Jupiter, but other times it's said to be Uranus. So they work well together. And because Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, which is the ruler of Gemini. So the idea comes in and we're able to do something with it. Now we have to find the balance, like I said, to integrate the higher potentials of what this could offer. And Gemini is a mental air sign, so it is possible, but not without challenges, that there could be a way of implementing very creative and innovative ideas that we're able to utilize in some way, and maybe make some major advancements through whatever innovative ideas should come through. So we're going to tap into our highest potentials. And like I said, although this is a lot of electrifying energy coming into the body, uh, Geminis can hold this because they're used to the air energy. However, it will take extra work and extra focus to be able to do this. And hopefully there's enough support from other planets in strategic placements in the chart to help to bring this energy in without getting distracted or overstimulated. Now, the sun is your vital force. And with Uranus in Gemini, it can stimulate the nervous system to activate the Kundalini energies. So if you are prepared for this intense activation, it can be a very intense experience. It can be very overstimulating if you're not ready for it. However, doing some grounding would be helpful. And just being able to stay in your center would be also helpful. Also, the sun rules the heart, so health issues with the heart could surface at this time. But from a more positive perspective, Uranus conjunct the sun brings major events that might put you in the spotlight based on the house that it is transiting through. So you may suddenly become more independent in your life, or it could shake up your marriage life, your family life, and your work situations, because it's meant to force you to gain your independence so you stand in your own light. There may be an electrifying charge like a lightning bolt that can strike at any time, causing you to suddenly rebel and take action to free yourself from whatever you think is holding you back. And this is an unstoppable transition that will put you in a whole new direction. But ultimately, this is meant to have you move in a direction that is more purposeful for you. So you could receive these downloads that will just automatically let you know what your true mission and purpose is. And we have to take action, and we will be willing to take action without hesitation now. So you could experience a sudden career change, or you might want to start your own business. You could suddenly rise to a leadership position or even fame, depending on the house that this is transiting through. And the inspiration to act on original or inventive ideas will be unstoppable. The urge to learn something unusual, such as occult science, like astrology or metaphysics, you may learn some new skills on technology or create some sort of modern scientific advancement. Also, you could find the courage and motivation and drive to free yourself from a situation you've been stuck in, if it's painful. And you now have the impetus to act with courage and and even though it may turn your life upside down, you are ready to sever ties from anything that you feel is holding you back, because this is ready to liberate you in some way. Now, even though there's turbulence in your life, like I said, this is the awakener, so it's meant to take you to a higher realm, to higher octaves in your life. And if you are able to integrate this change and move with the flow, then it's able to help you to gain a higher access to yourself or your own inspiration. And this is illuminating energy if used in a way that can assist us to walk in a path that is more inspiring for us. So Uranus in conjunct the sun can cause major disruptions in your life, but ultimately, Uranus wants to awaken us at a soul level through our sun sign, and so we have to do the work to embrace the journey. Transiting Uranus conjunct the natal moon in Gemini. Now, this is not an easy combination. The combination could be at odds with each other because the moon wants to feel safe and comfortable, and Uranus is not about safety and comfort. Uranus is about shock and shaking up your foundation. And foundation is usually what we want with our moon. We want somewhere safe to be and to feel like things are stable and comfortable for us. And Uranus is not going to allow us to stay in our comfort zone. So the moon rules also the unconscious, and Uranus rules the higher mind. So this again is at odds with what the moon wants. The moon wants to stay in its little sleepy, comatose state, and Uranus is saying, no, you need to wake up, shake you up, and become aware of your unconscious or subconscious programming and release yourself from them somehow. And this is not going to feel comfortable because we're going to make the unconscious conscious. And this could be destabilizing for you in some way. It's not a comfortable conjunction. Like I said, it's shaking you up at the foundation and it will feel stressful. And the moon rules the body. So this also can be difficult for the body on a personal level. There could be fast changes also in the home life or with a family situation. And of course, this will come unexpectedly. The health issues around the moon could be more around the nervous system, feeling edgy and irritated. Also, the moon also can be destabilizing for the mind because you're making things that are unconscious conscious. And if you're not ready to integrate this, this can be very challenging for us. Your mental state could be on a roller coaster, and finding stability or finding ways to heal this in order to find that, to integrate whatever is now conscious in us will be the task that people with the moon in Gemini may have to deal with. Now, none of this is set in stone. This is all based on your own personal natal chart. I'm just describing the energies in their most fundamental way. But of course, each natal chart is different, and how your moon is aspected and the placement in the chart is to determine how this will affect you. So the moon needs to interact with others. So there may be a need to access information to satisfy the curious mind of the Gemini moon. And social engagements and conversations are an easy outlet for Gemini moon. Uranus will help to bring a variety of exciting ideas that could make you feel happy if you're able to communicate them, share them, teach them, make them useful in some way. In this sense, Uranus influence can be very helpful in bringing about new and original ideas. So the moon represents your behavior. And in Gemini, with a Uranian influence, could give you the desire and passion to write, share, teach, speak up for yourself, and honor the things that makes you feel happy and free. But like I said, it's not going to be easy or comfortable necessarily because the moon likes its comfort zones, and the moon is how you behave, and it's sort of stuck in its conditioned patterns. And the Uranus is here to break you free from them. It's here to shake up your foundation so that you start to align in the potentials of what this is offering for you. So you will have to integrate this in some way in order to use it. So Gemini moons, just like the sun, will have a very active mind. And although Gemini typically likes to think about their ideas rather than engage or embrace them, it is going to be important that from the moon perspective, that we are able to embrace our emotions and help to bring them integrate them in some way so that they become healed, so that we're able to access parts of ourselves that we'd not been able to before. And this can be extremely liberating because you're setting yourself free from woundings that have held you back for your whole life. So if you're willing to stay in the influence of Uranus, the awakener, one might be willing to do some deep on themselves and become more aware of their unconscious patterns, and then notice the emotional connection to them. Then this could have an unexpected shift in our daily routines and habits. Uranus, when conjunct the moon in Gemini, could bring big changes around the family, home, family life, property, and your mother. The moon rules home, and in Gemini, this could bring a sudden urge to move, change neighborhoods or your community. Our perspective of reality, how our feelings get filtered through the mind, comes from the moon. And with Uranus's influence, it could pierce through veils of our perception and bring downloads and huge insights that give us a higher perspective about the choices we're making. There could be a desire to heal through shadow work and break conditioned patterns that have been unconsciously affecting your choices. And Uranus with the moon could bring an unexpected pregnancy. Or it could also bring the feeling of wanting to break free from the routines of being a mother or wife, the whole family structure. Parenting can become a challenge because there will be a strong and sudden urge to sever family ties, possibly. To integrate Uranus's energy with our moon, it's important that we stay open to what we are feeling and allow for healing to take place on an emotional level so that we do not act out unconsciously and instead channel the electrifying energy of Uranus through something Gemini, which is communicating, writing, sharing, teaching, something that allows us to express this Uranian download. And it will help us to get in contact with what the message of Uranus is with our moon in Gemini. Transiting Uranus, conjunct natal Mercury in Gemini. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. So this could bring a huge download of creative and original ideas, but could also overstimulate the mind to cause restlessness and an inability to focus long enough to use this transit effectively. Mercury rules the mind, but also the nervous system, and Uranus's electrifying energy adds an extra high voltage, a charge to the body and mind. However, Gemini, as a mental sign, is very capable of processing this intense energy of Uranus, and could bring some flashes of insight and brilliant solutions. Your communication skills will improve, and your ability to learn quickly, receive downloads psychically, and also the ability to write, share, and teach will be remarkably heightened. The mind will be more activated, so you could feel more restless. An overwhelming amount of information could cause you to feel scattered and unable to make sense of all of what you're receiving, like having cohesive thoughts. So that could be the one challenge, because it will be a huge amount of information that you'll start to receive. Mercury rules the mind, and Uranus is a higher mind. So lower mind and higher mind together, they work well together if you can utilize this constructively. So, but the setbacks on this could be, especially if you're Mercury ruled, like your sun is there and your Mercury is there, it could disrupt electrical devices such as your computers and your laptop or even your cell phone, because Mercury rules these things. And you're in the scientific field or work with technology, you could become a genius in this line of work, especially if you have the freedom to be original and creative. Uranus can awaken your hidden and deeper potentials. You might be able to see the future, think ahead, predict possible outcomes. At the very least, have a higher and more objective perspective of life in general. Uranus conjunct Venus in Gemini. This could be a romantic combination since Venus rules relationship and Uranus rules romance. So an unusual, unpredictable romantic relationship could begin suddenly. And this combination could cause separation in relationships also, because this could also disrupt romantic situations. Maybe there's a sudden desire for some freedom and liberation in the relationship or from the relationship. However, the way to work with this is to have more of a spiritual connection. So big changes can happen in all types of relationships, not just romantic relationships, but sudden and unexpected love affairs can begin out of the blue. This is good for creative expression, inspiration, and originality. And if you are into fashion or beauty, you could experience sudden changes that could give you a rise in fame, or especially if you're willing to experiment with whatever style you're working with, something that's more out of the box, in whatever creative way that you can come up with a new fashion expression. There could be a sudden shift in your personal values or your financial situation because Venus rules your money and your resources and your values. And all of this could have some kind of shift unexpectedly, or you may suddenly be able to or want to take some kind of financial risk and this could allow your money to increase. But because you're taking a risk, you also have to be careful because there could be a sudden decrease in your assets and your money. So even though this might be an exciting flash in the pants kind of energy where you suddenly are like willing to go all in on something that may be risky and you might benefit, you have to be cautious because you could also lose it. You also could receive an unexpected business contract or a partnership that is new and exciting, as well as a romantic relationship that blooms in the most unexpected ways. Uranus conjunct natal Mars in Gemini. This is an explosive combination because they fuel each other and they can exaggerate things in a more reckless and impulsive way. Now, can also be very rebellious and revolutionary type of energy, very explosive and activating, maybe too dynamic. And this can bring a lot of exaggerated, maybe over the top reactions in your life, because there could be conflicts and battles either internally, but also on the outside. And I say internally because this is in Gemini where it's the mind. So the mind can become very activated in a way that we're not ready for. And because of this, we're ending up doing battle with ourselves, like fighting our hidden enemy instead of finding ways to use this to drive our own ambitions, which also is possible if we understand how to use this energy. Now, from a more, it also could make us so ready to take on the battlefield that we're ready to change our career or get a divorce. Now, this could also cause like a crisis in an unexpected way, or this also rules unexpected accidents and emergency situations. So you do have to be a lot more cautious if Uranus is conjuncting your Mars, especially in Gemini, where things happen quickly and suddenly. This is not an easy time if Uranus is used, when Uranus conjuncts Mars. But if we can find ways to use this, this could give us like the fire that we need to take action in whatever it is that is ruled by Gemini, which could be something, working with technology or something regarding our communication, writing, sharing, teaching. If we can find a way to harness our Uranus energy and through Mars take some kind of action, it could be an extremely productive time for you. Transiting Uranus conjunct natal Jupiter in Gemini. Now, Uranus and Jupiter is one of the best combinations for success and increasing your spiritual insights and inspiration. There could be a change in your beliefs by being more curious and open to other ideas, because this can expand your mind. I've said that Jupiter rules the right brain, and Uranus also rules the right brain. But I think the right way to say this is that Jupiter rules the right brain and Uranus rules the higher mind. But either way, they both expand your level of perception and expands you at the level of consciousness. So you become more aware, more enlightened, more inspired. Also, there's the desire for success. You'll be driven to reach your goals. This Uranus and Jupiter together can drive you to write, speak, teach something that you're passionate about, maybe a philosophical topic or a spiritual topic or a religious topic. Whatever excites you at this time, it's a great time to use that energy. It can increase your spiritual development. Also, you can suddenly change your goals, but whatever you change to will more than likely be the right thing for you, because Jupiter can put you in the right direction and Uranus gives you the inspiration to take that action. You may be ready for higher studies, go back to college, or what if you're already in school, or if you already have your degree, you may want a higher education, such as a master's degree. You could pursue a degree in law or higher education. You may want to write and publish your book. You could, it also gives you the opportunities and rewards that are sudden, and they may materialize out of the blue. And you get these huge downloads about original things that you could do, original ideas that you could take action on. You could become more spiritually sound and focused. And this is huge for awakening because it is very expansive in how you start to see your reality. Your vision will change in a way that could be a huge quantum shift in the mind. And in Gemini, that also rules the mind, this works very well together. So these shifts could be radical. The downside to this could be that you become a little bit too dogmatic, and because you're very passionate about what you believe. And so you become a little bit too preachy and maybe pushy about your ideas. But with Gemini, even though Gemini can be very into its own ideas, it's a lighter, more curious, open energy. And because it likes to look at perspectives from different sides, it may back off a little, even if it does come across a little preachy in the beginning. Gemini has the potential to have a more open perspective on things. So there could be a mental breakthrough, a quantum shift is possible. And like I said, cause awakening to higher dimensions in oneself. Jupiter and Uranus is overall a lucky combination that could bring sudden success, windfalls, and leadership position, or even fame, or bring success in your career. So it could bring a lot of opportunities for you, and maybe even in the form of international travel. So Uranus conjuncting your Jupiter can be a very exciting time for you. transiting Uranus conjunct natal Saturn in Gemini. This could be a rocky period for relationships because Uranus likes to break things down and Saturn rules contracts, such as your marriage contract. This could be an unexpected change of rules and laws and guidelines somewhere in your life, maybe your own personal views and rules that you have, your own personal guidelines that you have for yourself could suddenly, not hold up so much. Suddenly you have I wouldn't even say sudden hold up. It will just suddenly break down because that's what Uranus does. It just breaks it down. It shatters it into a million pieces and you can't put it back together. Suddenly you have the courage to break away from your limitations. You grow socially and you could attract attention, especially if you're fighting for a cause. Suddenly you could be on the news for that. Uranus wants to be free and Saturn wants rules. So there is a conflict with these two, and there could be an internal battle because the Saturn wants things to have a lot of structure, be very organized, and it wants to materialize it in a very constructive way. And Uranus just wants to break it down and figure it out after. And this is not comfortable for Saturn. But Saturn is in Gemini, and because Saturn is in Gemini, it's kind of used to this airy kind of, its boundaries won't be as tight, let's put it that way. So thankfully, for this reason, Saturn could be used more constructively. And with Uranus helping to liberate this Saturn energy in Gemini, if used rightly, it could be very constructive, although could present some challenges in the beginning. So that is my overview on Uranus transiting Gemini. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please don't forget to subscribe and like, and it would be nice if you would share. That would help me to grow. Thank you for joining me again, and I hope to see you soon on my next video. Bye.